I said, bear with us. We setting up some more cameras. We'll get started in a minute. Thank y'all for being patient.
You do that long?
Okay. What up, world? How y'all doing today? Jay Tuck here. Today we are at Divine Art Studios. This is a little different. We're doing it live today, and we're doing a Q&A with the beautiful Divine Art Studios. We are going to dive into a lot of questions surrounding the artist, the creator, so to speak, the creator, so to speak. We're going to definitely dive into the mind for future and aspiring artists, people that always wanted to do what you do, want to know about the struggle, the success, how you get these inspirations. So we're going to definitely dive into that right now. A little background. Divine Art Studios has been well known in Atlanta, in the black urban scene of ATL. Peter Street is a big thing in the Atlanta art world, and she has cultivated that and cornered the market when it comes to that area of artistry. All right, so we're going to start with, this is Keshay Devine Tucker, an incredible artist, sculptor, poet, singer, entrepreneur, and a mother of 5. She has a lot of accolades, so many that throughout this question and answer and interview, you will see black excellence at its finest. Can you, Ms. Devine, can you introduce yourself to those who may not know you? Tell us who Keshay is and what drives your creativity.
Okay. Well, as my husband, Jay Tuck, as he said before, I'm a painter, I'm a sculptor, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm probably your cousin. Mm-hmm. Nah, maybe, but and owner of Divine Art LLC, moving around this Divine Art Studio, based in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from. South Atlanta to be specific. I'm from College Park. I'm gonna say it right for y'all, because you know y'all not from where I'm from. So I'm from College Park. I would say College Park, but don't worry about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
What drives my passion? It's just natural for me to do what I do. I've been drawing my entire life. And it got to the point where it's something that just never went away. Now I'm like, I feel fulfilled in what I do. It brings me peace. It brings me a lot of purpose. Feels like I'm getting a message out with my work. I don't talk to my audience very much. I've always felt that my work, I like to speak to you guys through my work with where I am in life, or the way I'm perceiving things going on in life, or by different things or people or moments or feelings or perspectives that inspire me and move me. Sometimes it's about my kids. Sometimes it's about the things that I see going on in the world around me, around us, or things, feelings that I'd like to express.
That's very amazing, astonishing actually. What made you transition from a lifelong hobby of drawing to building your business, Divine Art? And then I also would like to ask to tap into the name Divine Art. That's power on its own. To divine art, and it flows off the tongue. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not forced.
Yeah.
It feels like it needs to be there. You know what I mean? Like in every home.
Yeah.
Explain that. How did you come up with that concept? And what drove you to make this change and this jump?
That's where, things tend to feel a little bit like destiny. So as he said earlier, my name is Keshay Devine Tucker, but that's because I'm married now. Tucker is my married name. Devine is my maiden name. So I'm born Keshay Devine. It just feels kindred. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a kindred thing. It's just like it's meant to be that way. I've been an artist all of my life, and it was just a natural transition. Like, it was like, the obvious thing to call my business, and it's also like the obvious representation and feeling behind my business and the driving force behind it. Divinity, genuineness, culture. You know what I'm saying? Being black is divine.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Being cultural is divine, for every culture. And then, divine feminine. You know what I'm saying? So, strength in my name, and it's my birthright.
So I heard you say something about transition. I want to go back to the first part of my question. What made you transition from a lifelong hobby of drawing to building your business? Because, I can't draw a stick figure.
That's what everybody says.
That's
everybody's lying, but that's what
I used to draw people with the word boy, and that's how I did the face. And when I look and I see, and I'm sure other people are the same way, when they see a white piece of paper and a canvas and you create that and make it your oyster, it's amazing. So how do you go from being young and drawing, starting from a piece of paper, doodling, as you will, to creating MJ, as y'all can see MJ right here, as you can see this masterpiece behind you.
Thank you.
And multiple masterpieces. You get what I mean? So, like, where does the inspiration, and how do you transition that from a paper to a board or a canvas to really create something that's one of one, to be honest?
The irony in that is that, like, I started off sketching and did that most of my life in the beginning. And it was just something that was natural. I have a belief, as far as reincarnation. So, like, in hindsight, it just kind of seems like it was a gift that I came into the world with. You know what I'm saying? As far back as I can remember, I've been sketching. Ironically enough, I did not want to paint.
Really?
Yeah, when I used to go to art class, and I used to love art class, but when the assignment was to do a painting, I used to be pissed, like, I don't paint.
Really?
Yeah.
Now look at you now. Can't put a brush down.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I didn't start painting until about, I started painting when I married you back.
Really?
Yeah. I had never, I did one painting in high school, and of course it was pretty nice. I gave it to my mom. I didn't care for it, but she loved it, so she kept it.
Yeah.
But so she actually has my very first painting, and she's the first person I did draw, by the way. I used to just draw her face all the time as a kid. Yeah.
Okay.
Cause she's so beautiful. But so she's my first subject. But yeah, I did not enjoy painting. But when I decided to, after we had our second son, Jason.
Which you'll see, you got a painting over here of Jason as well.
Yeah. Jason. Let's see. So right when we got married is when I was pregnant with Jason, and at the time there was only just our first son, Jamil. So I was about 25 at that time, so I was transitioning from just being in the workforce for real. I had gone to college. I went to Fort Valley State University, but I did go for mass communication and psychology. So, and that was only because I felt like I didn't have a belief that I could really go to school to do what I do. So I, took the route of choosing something practical instead of going to art school. I even had an opportunity where I was accepted into an art school in Alpharetta when I was in high school, but I turned it down because I wanted to, you know, remain in Creekside and stuff with my friends and stuff like that. Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We wish we could have turned back the clock a little bit so we could make a different decision. I understand that.
So that was kind of, I don't do too many regrets, but that was kind of an L. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. So
well, we call L's lessons around here. So
you know, basically, you know. So from there, one of the bright moments, or one of the blatant moments at Fort Valley, I had an art course because I was pretty bored at college. It wasn't like everything had become redundant. School was too easy, you know. So second semester comes and I enrolled in an art course, and I was excited about it. I was optimistic because at first I was feeling like, you know, I don't think school is for me. I was having fun with my friends, but like I couldn't do class. And it was just a genuine feeling at that point. But I got an art course and I was excited about it. And she was lecturing for 3 hours. And I was really disappointed. And I couldn't go in the building anymore. I couldn't go to school anymore. I decided to take a break. I got into the workforce a bit. Ended up having Jamel in that time frame and started to work and just kind of get into the gist of learning more about myself as a person, as a woman. I learned that like that structured environment or the practical approach to the career field, it wasn't genuine for me. It wasn't something that was a good fit for me at all. And that was something I learned through experience. So once we got married and I was pregnant with Jason, that's when I started to get into like, you know, what is my career going to be? And that's when we discussed like, hey, maybe you should go to art school. And well, that's what I thought. I was like, you know, well, I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna go to art school. But, you know, he was like, babe, you don't need school, you know what I'm saying, for your art. And I'm like, yeah, you're really right. I already got student loans to pay. Or no, they had already been paid. So I didn't want to make any more.
I know that feeling.
I don't want to make any more, you know, but I was only still sketching at the time. So I'm like, you know, if I'm going to take this serious, I need to take it to the next level.
True.
That's the way I perceived it, which people, they're not professional sketch artists, but that was just, I felt a genuine approach for me. I felt like that was what I needed to do. So I started to teach myself to paint. I started in acrylics. I'm like, you know, we got our second kid, you know what I'm saying, like it's getting serious. I need to know, get locked in on what I'm doing.
Right.
So I began to teach myself to paint from there. That was about 2015.
Really?
Yeah, 2015 I started to teach myself to paint.
So how was your family and your personal journey, including being a wife and a mom, shaped your art? So pretty much your family dynamic, how has that shaped your artwork? How has that made you go harder in your personal journey and your achievements in your artwork? Because I've seen different pictures of you doing artwork for Kandi, Tiny, you name it, Usher. There's so many artists. I've seen you on Good Day America, like on the TNT Center with your paintings on what show was that? What show was that?
That was TV One.
The TV one, but what was
Sister Circle?
Sister Circle. Like, and there were so many other people that also seen you on your artwork on Sister Circle. So like that's not a small, feat. Like that's something real big. You know what I mean? So how has your family shaped that creativity or shaped that drive to just get your artwork and take that chance and jump out into the world and jump in front of people and get your artwork in front of these artists and these people?
Well, that was very bold. Starting out, early when I was starting out, actually, so our second son, Jason, when I began to begin to teach myself to paint, about a year into the process, that's when Jason passed. About a month before he turned 1. Now, he's a huge reason, of course, that my pregnancy with him made me think about, you know, what my actual career is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he was a turning point for me, a moment that led me to even go this direction. And so for him and his life, I wanted to make sure that I didn't waste any time or take time for granted. So I wanted to make bold moves and pretty much dedicate my work to him, my journey to him, for real. Like, live for him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really go all the way, take bold steps and moves. You know what I mean? It's been therapy for me. So from there, I've been pushed to just like try to make an impression, I suppose, especially during that time. Those were the early days, the moments that you named. They were the early days for me because, like, Kandi was the first person I approached, and, you know, she's super gracious and down to earth for real, because we took the painting. I did a painting of her, a big one.
Yeah.
And took it up. It was right a few months after he passed away, but we took it up to OLG, and, you know, she was dope. She's the reason I started having business cards and flyers, because it was so early for me. She tried to get my information, and, like, I had to write it down. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I was like, I cannot be unprepared again. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
That was a thing. But, you know, I think it was something more along the lines of planting the seed. Because, you know, in hindsight, because I was just starting out painting, now my technique has evolved quite a bit. So I'm like, oh, she was really nice during that time, because I'm like, those paintings, like, I didn't really, I feel like the quality naturally was not as up to par, maybe.
Well, it damn sure is now.
Hey, you know, but it's about growth. Like, I was still in the learning process, and we should all be lifetime students.
Right.
Trying to get better every day.
That's the goal.
What are we doing if not? You know what I mean? So, doing what I do, I chose this career because I knew, you know, that this is something that would allow me to still be present for my children, my family, you. You know what I'm saying? It's a good balance. Like, I can paint and be around my family. It doesn't really, for me, in my perspective, it's not something that takes me away.
So my next question is, when did you realize that art was your true calling? Now, I know you said you started painting when we got married. I know you said that, but when did you, like, stop and be like, hey, I can do this? And, like, really, ain't nobody touching me. Because that's where you at now. You get what I mean? Like, I'm saying it, though. But and everybody, and the other people, and everybody see it, too. You get what I mean? Like, so when did you stop and turn around and look at your artwork and say, I can do this profession?
I mean, like I said, it was the moment. It was a choice. I knew I had something early on. When I first left, after I was hit, so, gosh, man, I was hit by a car.
Wait. You were hit by a car?
So when I went on break from Fort Valley, I came home after freshman year. I decided to stay in Atlanta to work. I was working at Greenbrier and Jimmy Jazz. Decided to work and stack up for a vehicle, because I'm like, listen, I can't be down in the country without a car.
Oh,
ain't gonna work.
That's a no-no.
So I'm gonna take a break and go back to school. I'm gonna take a break and stack up for a vehicle and go back to school. You know what I'm saying? That semester break turned into being pregnant with the oldest, Jamel. That semester break turned into a year later, me attempting to go to medical school, be a pharmacist. That was sweet. You know, still trying to take the practical approach.
Right.
Because being that I had become a mom, I was 20. You know what I'm saying? So being that I had become a mom, I'm like, listen, how can I multitask per usual, right?
Right.
How can I take care of him and still, like, you know, dive in and do something about my career? So, like, do I want to go way back to Fort Valley? Nah. You know, I want to stay in Atlanta around family. So I attempted that transition. In the midst of that, I was leaving school one day early, decided I'd go in early to work, pick up some extra hours at the mall, and at the time I was riding MARTA. You know what I'm saying? I was riding MARTA through the city. You know, MARTA. Thought it was smarter, but it made shit a little harder. You know what I'm saying? It made shit a little harder. I decided to stop by the house first
Mm-hmm.
and go see Jamel real quick. He was about 4 months at the time. He was at home with my mom. I was staying back with her since I took a break from school, and I had just talked to you on the phone.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was deep. That was tough.
Yeah. But and we were just friends at the time. We was on one of our mini breaks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I had just spoke to you, but as I was getting off the MARTA bus to cross the street, I was hit by a car.
Mm.
Literally. In the crosswalk, went up in the air, went down.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose adrenaline, because it was like slow motion for me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, this how I'm about to go out. Because, like, it was on Memorial Drive, and Memorial Drive is pretty busy. So I'm really thinking the car is going to come from the other side and, like, go ahead and take me out the game. But I'm like, damn, I just turned 20. So that's how I'm about to go out. And it seems like, as I think about that, I guess I was just, like, going to let that be the case. But I thought about Jamel. I was like, I can't go yet. Like, I just had a son.
Right.
So, as I land, I pull myself out the street. Call my sister, call my mom. They call 911. Now when I get to the side of the street, I can't even move. When the ambulance come, they lift me up, I'm screaming. Because come to find out, my entire hip is fractured, my left hip. I had to get a plate and 22 screws in my hip.
Jesus.
Yeah, I had to be on a walker at first, then transition to a cane, and then I was back good to go, out here. You know what I'm saying? But from there, I got back into drawing. I hadn't drawn, I didn't realize this till like a month ago because I thought about it. I had not been sketching the entire time I had been in Fort Valley. So I started to draw again. And I started to write my poetry again. I hadn't done that. That's something I was heavy in. So I would write poems to go along with my sketches.
Right.
So I was doing that for a while, and I started to send it to a bunch of my friends and cousins, and like, yeah, they know, so they really been getting that work from me just because.
Right.
And a lot of people was rocking with it, and it was just something I was doing. That's the thing about the art. Like, I've always been passionate. It's something that I'm always do anyway because it's just a part of me. So at that time, I kind of knew I had something. I was about 20, 21, 22, but I still didn't know how to, like, process it and, into, like, making it a career, making money. Like, the time that we grew up in the 90s, and I'll say more so about our culture and where we're from, like, it didn't seem like doing a career in art would be feasible. So I just never, took it as an option. And just something that was a part of me that I would do anyway.
It's real. So I heard you say that well, of course I'm a part of this, so I know, but you said that Jason was a big inspiration, our late son. Can you talk about the moment that inspired you to go professional after the loss of our son, Jason? I know it may be tough. I know it's
I just kind of feel like I already answered that.
the moment that you were inspired after the loss of him to keep going in your into your profession, because I know a lot of traumatic things happen to celebrities, and they may have to take a break. They may have to backpedal, hit the pause button sometimes. Like the drive that continues you to become great, or to continues you or makes you continue your greatness after something that tragic. How do you do that? Like, there's sometimes people may want to. I know, in me being in that feeling, I want to quit. You know what I mean? And
like I said, it was just something that I dedicated to him. I don't take time for granted because, like, you never really know when your last days are.
That's real.
He didn't make it past VM1. I don't want to continue to hide my talents and my gifts, and honestly, like, giving you guys this art is just giving you a piece of the puzzle, but it's something that I'm comfortable sharing. It's therapeutic. So I wanted to make the most of it. It was something that he inspired. His birth, me being pregnant with him, his life inspired me to go in this direction and take it seriously. He loved it. He used to always try to grab onto my paintbrushes, and he always used to just sit and stare at the canvases and try to draw with me. And he was so little. He started walking and stuff so early. You know what I mean? But he was into it. You know, he was my little bestie at the time. You know what I'm saying? So.
So you work with oils, acrylics, and even sculpting. How did you teach yourself all of these different mediums? Because like I said, you went from a pencil to watercolors to oils, which I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, different materials or different type of paints. I'm sure it requires maybe different canvases, textures, maybe in different times or length of times to dry. So how do you well verse yourself in different mediums being self-taught?
It's just a gift. It just comes now.
So you just like that, huh?
Yeah.
Like, no.
These are gifts.
Yeah.
It's genetic.
Okay.
I'm an artist. When I started to sculpt, I was just able to do it.
It just came natural, like.
Yeah, and it's something that's inherited. Like I come from a creative line, a creative bloodline. Honestly, on both sides. My grandfather, my dad's father is an artist. He's a different style of artist, but he's an artist. That coupled with my mom's creativity, my grandmother's creativity. You know what I'm saying? When you bring those things together, it creates this type of artistry. So I'm just pretty much the combination of the lineage I come from.
So it's in your DNA, just you jack of all trades when it comes to creativity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I just took from that.
A family of singers.
Yeah.
On my mom's side, she's creative. She can pretty much do all things with her hands. She can do hair. She can sing. She creates beautiful things. Her grandmother, my great grandmother, she created everything. She was a seamstress, so she was a designer, and she could design the clothes on your back. She could do your hair. She could design the clothes, you know, like the fabrics on the furniture, the curtains, sew from scratch. She made all their prom dresses and clothes from scratch. So it's just, you know, it's kind of like just different areas of creativity, you know.
So I heard you say that your mom can sing. And I know for a fact that, you know, you've dabbled and you do poetry. And I started to see that you are integrating singing and poetry into your artwork. And I want to know, what is the process of integrating this poetry and singing into your work? And how do you see that expanding in the future?
Right now, as far as singing is concerned, like, that's just, you know, a genuine approach. That's more so just people seeing, like, the process of how I get into the vibe of even doing what I do. Like, It's just, like, part of the recipe. You know what I'm saying? As I'm painting, I'm listening to some music to inspire and move me through the piece. Okay. Naturally, I'm singing along.
Right.
Catching the vibe.
As always.
It's just a part of it. You know, that's the extent of that. You know what I mean? And I guess that would just be simply me being vulnerable and allowing people to see, like, my process. You know, like, that's what works for me.
Yeah.
That's what's getting me through it smooth. As far as the poetry, I'll be bringing that back into the situation because, for me, I feel like that is probably the most creative and easiest way for me to give you guys a story and express, like, the energy behind the paintings that I'm doing. Yeah,
like I like that.
Everybody is gonna have their own interpretation because that's what art is anyway.
Right.
You know, naturally, but I still, you know, people still at the exhibits and when I'm doing my shows, they ask me, you know, like, well, what made you paint this? You know, they tell me what they perceive and how they taking it, and then they ask me where it came from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is my way of being able to give you guys a story, you know, to connect with the photos and give you a visual. Bring you to where I'm at, bring you into my mind for a second in a different way. It's a different, you know, different ways translating it.
Which piece or pieces of art are you most proud of and why? And I want to see them too. If you go show, if it's not one of these three right here.
You know, that's a tricky one because when you create, and I know all my artists out there feel me on this, like, these are your babies.
Right.
They're coming out of you. So At best, your favorites are probably your latest pieces.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's usually pretty tough to pick unless, you know, it's specific.
So have you ever had any pieces that was hard for you to let go?
I realized that all of them have been hard for me to let go.
Really?
Yes.
Mm.
It's very confusing selling art.
I know I done had a few of them that was like, don't sell that one just yet. And
He was upset when Black Parade sold, for example. He felt like that was for him, but I don't know why. I don't know why.
Because it spoke to me, just like the artwork. And this is the first time I can honestly say, I know it's not about me, but the first time I can honestly say that one of the pieces that you did spoke to me in a powerful level, like on a different level of like I couldn't take my eyes off of it. So like when I see people drawn to paintings when they're at galleries and exhibits, or we may see that on a show, I believe that because I felt it. You know what I mean? And so I definitely see that the power and that the artwork is priceless. You know what I mean? So
I came across this artist a while back, and my apologies, I don't remember her name, but she gave some wonderful advice. She was saying, do every art piece, or paint every art piece, create every piece of art, as if when the audience, or anybody, obviously it still will be an audience, but anybody looks at your painting, they're learning something new about you.
that's real.
So once I got that perspective from her,
Right.
that opened my eyes to it like a light bulb. Like, okay, like this is the direction I take. Like, no matter what's it about, there's a connection for me, and it's me telling you something about. Like, it's just different pieces of me, like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, I couldn't choose a favorite piece.
Gotcha.
You know, because they all make up, like, just different parts of me,
Right.
different points of where I'm at, whether it's Frida Kahlo.
Like your kids, you can't just have a favorite. You don't have a favorite. Like you love them all equally, right? Like
Really?
you know what I mean?
But yes, you know.
Right. So I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach creating large urban-inspired wooden pieces and boards, and as well as your sculptures? Because before the Q&A and the interview process is over, I would love to see one of the sculptures and let the live see at least one of your sculptures.
Yeah, because they bought the sculptures. I think I got one
You got one in the
left.
cut?
I got one in the cut.
Got to.
And I definitely need to make some more.
See?
I only have 2 hands though, guys.
I understand.
But, what?
How do you approach creating large urban-inspired wooden pieces and the large inspired sculptures as well? Because I've seen you do some amazing stuff with that clay.
I just pretty much do what feels right. I try to plan.
Mm-hmm.
I move off inspiration, and then I also try to make sure I move a little quickly, because since I'm an artist, I can get inspired so easily, and it's kind of like my energy is on to the next thing, the next vibe, or whatever else is inspiring me at the moment. What I do, it just feels like a genuine journey of a part that I need to explore, or a story that I need to tell, and I just kind of don't know until I get there.
I understand.
You know, I bumped into, when I came across the artist Frida Kahlo, for example, my approach with her, like, because I connect with her so deep, and I wish I could tell you why, but I don't know, you know, but we have such a similar journey, and that's, you know, interesting as well.
And this is the Frida Kahlo piece right here?
That's one of them.
Okay.
And I got a series I'm working on.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, this is surrealista.
These colors are just so vibrant. I can't even lie to you. These colors,
Yeah.
man. Mustard.
Right. See, even with Frida Kahlo, like, my approach, every approach, the situation is different.
Right.
Because it's different reasons on why I paint different pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to learn all about her, you know, since I was inspired by her, and getting into all her movies and biographies and her life story, and finding out that we have such a similar journey. You know, it pretty much, like, in my mind, gives me a blueprint and inspires me and moves me on how I can, you know, translate to you guys the way I perceive Frida, or the way that she inspires me, and, you know, the lens and the way I see her, for example, and to honor her artistry.
Well, I know when it comes to the urban arts, you've been definitely doing your thing, and you've been making waves. And the Frida Kahlo piece and the pieces that you have done, I can speak from my family members that are Latino, and you are definitely making them proud as well with, you know, the inspiration that you're bringing by bringing Frida Kahlo's name, you know what I mean, back to life, so to speak, when it comes to it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a vet now. You know, back to life.
Well, what I'm saying is it's like keeping it still circulating today and around to the generations that may not have done the research to make people have to go back and check on that. Let me see who. I'm sure it's appreciated. You know what I mean? Just like if somebody grew up and doesn't know MJ, you know what I mean? Or somebody grew up and doesn't know Whitney in the pieces that you've done before, and they're like, "Mommy, who's that? Girl, let me put you on." You know what I mean? Like, because this is our culture and our heritage, and we respect that. You know what I mean? So the fact that your lineage is tying into urban, black and brown, Latino, Boricua, you know what I mean? Like, you are jack of all trades, I must say, Miss Devine. Okay, so now we're going to get into a couple of challenges and triumphs. As a self-taught artist, what have been some of the biggest challenges you faced, and how have you overcome them?
I guess the biggest challenge in being self-taught is the reality of trial and error. And acceptance. You know, you got to accept the fact that that's a part of the journey. And, you know, it's a part of the growth. Like, you know, as much as, for instance, I wanted to be at a certain level artistically, as soon as I decided I was ready to be an artist, you know what I'm saying, there's still a process there that just has to take place. So, like, when I made the bold actions and jumped off the porch, did a painting of Kandi and did a painting of Tiny, like, it was wonderful. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, logically, I still had some growth to do as an artist. You know what I mean? Just in my technique. So it's like, realistically, you know, being self-taught, you know, there is no textbook answer in being an artist. And I just believe that's for anybody. Everybody has their own style. You know, if you go to a school or something like that, or you're trained, you're going to get a uniform approach, you know, usually, and how you're supposed to go about producing a painting. And there's a level to that, but I still feel like every artist, you know, should always, and it's wonderful to always have your own unique approach and how you get it out, how you get your art out onto the paper, whatever medium you use, or if you paint with your fingers, if you paint with a brush. I've seen people do it with salt, sketch, like whatever your approach is, you know, it should be a genuine one. And that's just a part of it, and it's not going to start off perfect, you know, but the challenge is learning to be okay with that and being patient with yourself and not giving up on yourself, especially when, like, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Creating is something that's a calling, you know. It's not something to be perfect with. So if you're willing to grow and be patient with yourself, and it teaches you self-love, you got to give yourself grace, you know what I'm saying, to be able to grow in your technique and realize this shit don't happen overnight.
It definitely don't. I see that. So I've heard you talk about a lot of celebrities, and you've had incredible moments in this run. Like your work being featured in Sister Circle, like I brought up, knowing you. And collected by celebrities like Usher, Kandi Burruss, can't forget T.I.'s wife, Tiny, and so many others. Lil Baby has one. So many that you've sent out. Oh, two. I'm sorry. Lil Baby has two, you know. What's been the most rewarding part of your career so far when it comes to, like, I'll ask you, what's been the most rewarding part overall, and what's been the most rewarding part painting celebrities, if any? You can be honest. We can talk. You know, we at home. We candid. You know.
As far as painting celebrities, like the initial drive behind that, you know what I mean, is definitely to pay homage. You know what I'm saying? Because I pretty much, in those scenarios, did work to honor those people that I was inspired by. in different ways, of course. When it comes to Kandi and Tiny, like I've been familiar with them, of course, us all being from the south side of Atlanta.
Right.
Now, I'm in a totally different age group, but all of my parents have connections, like they know somebody, know their cousin, you know, so on and so forth. Like they know
Y'all connected.
them.
They
Yeah,
connected.
I've always been familiar with all of them. I've been familiar with Kandi and Tiny since I was about 5 years old, singing their songs with my mama and her best friends in the group that they, in the R&B group that they developed. So like, I wasn't supposed to be singing that stuff, but that's not the point. You know what I'm saying? At 5, I actually discovered I could sing by singing escape songs.
Okay.
So they are part, you know what I'm saying, of my creative journey and
It goes full
my
circle.
passion. Yeah, so like that's just on a whole other level. And I wanted to mention that to them when I met them. I'll tell them another time, but I don't want to confuse anybody. Like, listen, I'm looking for a record deal. I'm trying to sing, like, because that's not what I'm on,
Right.
like, at all.
Understood.
But they definitely inspired me, you know, in those ways to tap into a different area of my creativity, a different side of myself that loves to sing. I used to sing Tiny's parts, all of Escape songs. I grew up on that. I vibe to that when I'm painting now. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can never go wrong with some good 90s R&B. So that, Usher, and at the time, you know, Lil Baby was hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dang.
you know what I mean? So he was my favorite rapper at the time. So
Understood.
I was inspired just like by his drive, being from where we're from, and working and evolving, displaying your creativity. He a go-getter. Like, I love that shit.
Right.
I'm a go-getter. I felt inspired by how bro was moving around. I did a painting of him and his son, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
That moved me. You know what I'm saying? His son's name is Jason. I felt like it was a little coincidence. He seems to be a good hands-on father. So I did a painting of them both together. The album, one of his earlier album covers.
Mm.
Just trying to show love for real, man.
So what's been the most rewarding part of your career so far? If you had to choose anything that has happened throughout your artistry or your art career, if you had to think about it,
Oh yeah, that's right.
what do you think would be the most, or what has been the most rewarding for you?
Being able to inspire my kids.
That's right.
Being able to show them that they can do more than the usual. You know what I mean? No matter what that looks like. Like, they can create their own opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
They can follow their passions. They can follow their dreams. This is mine. Like, let me take you with me. Let me show you that, you know, I'm a businesswoman. You can do this on your own. Come with me while I set up my art exhibit. Let me show you how to file your taxes. You know what I'm saying? Business things. Creatively, a lot of them, most of them can draw. You know?
So they've already been showing the talents
Mm-hmm.
or the work or the reward of mommy being an artist, mommy being versatile and being able to create. So they've already attacked that.
Yeah, so seeing them love what I do and appreciate it and be proud of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's been the most rewarding thing, and being able to inspire the next generation, because that's what it's showing me, that I'm inspiring the next generation, because like I said, when I was growing up, I didn't believe that this was something I could do for a living. So showing my children that they can do anything that they put their mind to, or anything that their hearts desire, and that they feel is their purpose, as well as being able to inspire other children to do the same, then we can birth, you know, a whole new generation of artists that can believe in themselves. Take it serious.
So in Atlanta, you've struggled with financial support in the arts. What lesson did you learn from opening your own gallery here in Atlanta?
I learned I opened it in the wrong area.
And what consists of being in the wrong area? What types of things are you looking for other artists or other aspiring artists or business women or businessmen that are trying to aspire to be artists, that want to jump off the porch, as we speak, and want to actually put their best foot forward and do that? What are some things or signs that they could look at and be like, this isn't the right place for my artwork or for what I do in the art world? You get what I mean? Because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people will hit or miss, trial and error, and waste thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh, I have, yeah. Well, you definitely got to be strategic about location.
Okay.
As far as, you know, I guess like lack of financial support here in the state. Like it's low key. It's just something that's not, I would say, consistent in this state because this is not quite, maybe it's just a vibe, you know. This is more of a party or entertainment type of town. At the same time, it's more so receiving that support outside of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my collectors are from all over.
Right.
So that's the irony in that. There are more people outside of Georgia. Most of my supporters are not here. You know what I'm saying? But most real deal art collectors that they live in Cali, they live up north. I've sent paintings to Germany. You know, I got collectors there. I have collectors all over the United States. So it's just kind of one of those things. People just need to be clear to broaden their horizons.
So what are some things, or what do you think that there's anything that you could do, or there's anything that anybody else or fellow artists like yourself could do to gain more traction when it comes to the art world in Atlanta, instead of, like you said, you got collectors in Germany, you got collectors all over the United States and some outside of the United States, but your hub, your home, which we speak on this all the time, where you're from, a lot of artists, rappers, canvas artists don't get the support they deserve. So is there anything that you could do or you feel like we could do to change the narrative of that?
I don't think it's about trying to change any sort of narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about creating genuinely, and whoever that connects with, that's who it's for.
Yeah.
When you really get into it, and when you create from a genuine space, you realize like you're not doing it for validation. You do it to inspire. You do it, you know, hoping that somebody will connect and pretty much be able to relate to a piece of you or something that you're trying to express. And it's always a special thing when that happens. When somebody comes and looks at a painting and they're like brought to tears and they feel connected, and somehow it moves them, somehow it reminds them of a moment in their lives, you know, something inside of me that I got out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Is inspiring or touching somebody else, and they feel like this belongs in my living room. This belongs in my business. That's a genuine thing. That's not something that can be forced.
Right.
So, I basically just can't concern myself with such things. I realized, you know, I mean, quite some time ago that it's really just all about creating from a genuine space, and that's going to genuinely go and connect where it's going to go. These places, these paintings, these pieces already have a home. They're just, you know,
waiting to get there.
Yeah, like it already is. You know
That's
what
real.
I mean? Until they bump into their collector. That's how it goes.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. How have you navigated balancing motherhood, marriage, and your art business all under the same roof with the same 24 hours every other human being has?
I'm tired.
We're just gonna call you Superwoman.
It's something. It's just something that basically makes me stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the balance is something that's not gonna ever be perfect. Because life, moments call for different energies from me. Life is unpredictable. Sometimes like I need to wear my mom hat most of the time.
Mm.
Sometimes I gotta lock in and focus on my foundation, my marriage, which is, you know, again, the foundation of my family, children and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And in my career, you know, because it's more than just like my job, since I've been doing this my whole life, that's also a part of who I am. So that's a part of my self-love and maintaining who I am as a woman and not losing myself in the sauce within all of this. This is a way of me showcasing and just really showing to myself, like, this is a way of keeping me. This is a way of nurturing myself for real as well. So it's kind of, you know, it's so much to it when it comes to that.
That's real. What's one piece of advice you'd give to other self-taught artists who want to build a successful art career, whether it be here, outside of the United States, or in another state? If you could tell them one thing.
Be you.
Be you.
Yep. And don't stop.
Don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, man, be patient.
Yeah.
Because everybody got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? So, as long as you can lock in on yourself, you know, not allow yourself to, it's okay to be inspired by other artists, but, you know, you just want to be careful in making sure you're painting from or creating from a genuine space within. So, you know, it's everyone's art style is, it's like a signature. You know, it's like your own personal signature. So you need to always make sure, like, that's how you end up getting into your own style, your own genuine process, and how you create what you're trying to communicate, how you're trying to express yourself. So I would just pretty much say, be you. And I would also put with that, just don't stop. Keep going. Keep growing.
Okay. Future plans and visions. So a couple of months ago, you were given the opportunity to apply for a prestigious fellowship at Princeton that would have took our family to Jersey. And with that, you're applying for prestigious fellowships like Princeton. When you're applying for these things, what excites you most about these opportunities?
It gives me, situations like those would definitely put me in a scenario where it's giving me the opportunity to explore other places and be able to, of course, do what I love, as well as inspire communities and groups of younger artists who take themselves seriously and be able to, like, not even lead, but just walk with them and them, like, entering into such a journey.
Right.
Especially college level students, for instance. That would be special for me because, just like I said earlier, when I went to Fort Valley and when I took my art course, I was all excited. And then, the lady, no shade to her, but she lectured us for 3 hours.
Oh, Lord.
Every week. And I was like, when we gonna make something? When
Right.
we gonna paint something? When we gonna draw? Like, what are we doing? So it was something that was like, not discouraging, but it was a letdown for me. And had I been able to be in such a situation when I was in college and we had a mentor and someone painting alongside us and showing us our different techniques and things of that nature, like, that would have kept me there.
So, briefly in this interview earlier, you've spoken about relocating to New Jersey. We just talked about that. You've mentioned a little bit about Texas. We've even, off the camera, we've talked about moving out of the country even, with hopes of finding better opportunities in the career field that you're in. What kind of impact do you hope a move like that will have on your career and your families?
Just expansion and just broadening our horizons as a whole. There's more. I just want to show the kids that there's more to life. I just want to show them a different environment that brings a different perspective, that brings growth and perspective. I want to put them just in different spaces. I want to bring my art to different spaces. And regardless of what exactly that's going to look like, I'm still just going to pretty much facilitate that, like, travel around a lot more with my art in general, get into different exhibitions around the country, like, regardless of where we plant our roots.
Right.
Because I'm a creative, I'm inspired by my surroundings. I love nature. I'm a big energy person. So sometimes, you need a change of scenery for inspiration, a different vibe, a new beginning, even to grow or be inspired in a different way.
A lot of artists starting out may not have as large of a family as yours, but they still may experience, when packing up and moving, they still may experience a little fear. So my question to you is that you having such a big family, do you struggle or ever have any types of fear when it comes to these type of big changes and big moves? And if so, how do you suppress that and move forward and within yourself?
Well, I don't suppress nothing. That's not healthy. But you know what I'm saying, and I ain't struggling. But you know, I haven't done any of this yet. It will be new for me, but it's just something I feel is genuinely necessary. I'm just trying to get a clear idea of what that is going to look like.
That's right.
I guess the biggest thing was pretty much like not being able to pull up on my mama or sister weekly, but like we so tight. I mean, we always talking, we always texting, we always FaceTiming. So like we're not gonna miss a beat.
That's right.
You know, I gotta step away and grow real quick and do what I gotta do for my personal journey and personal fulfillment. And as long as I stay focused on that, my growth is gonna allow me to be full so that I can also pour into my family. So as long as it's conducive for all of us, that's pretty much what brings my spirit peace about all of it. Like it'll be smooth, however it goes.
Okay. Where do you see your business, Divine Art, in the next 5 years?
Well, I don't know that I want to tell y'all what the plan is.
And you don't have to. But
I might keep that a little tucked to the chest, but I definitely have one.
But where do you see your business in 5 years? You don't have to tell the plan, but you can definitely say, you can see we should say, what state do you see your business in? Or what country do you see your business in the next 5 years? You can answer that however you want to. You're the artist, you can create your own answer.
Yeah, right. Okay. You know, I'll say easily, like just on a minute level, just on the surface, I definitely see myself having my kids more involved.
Okay.
Because they're getting older.
So a family business. You see it turning into a more family structured, creative artistry.
And just being a little more focused on inspiring the younger generation. And that's one thing that'll be more, you know, obvious, heavily at that point, more out in the front at that point.
So we could plan to see more Divine Art sipping paints and stuff, maybe giving back to the communities and stuff just to help out the kids.
You know, kids ain't sipping and paint. But you know what I'm saying? Trying to get them chocolate wasted, huh?
Yeah, no. they can sip some OJ and paint. They can do some pancakes and painting and stuff, you know, like stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, just whatever different things. I done dropped my crystal. But yeah, that'll pretty much be about the gist of that. Like, you know, being able to give back and inspiring the younger generation in whatever way is feasible, you know.
So, if you were to open a new gallery today, what would you do differently?
Well, I will be doing that soon, probably within I'll say within the next year or so is the plan. What I am doing differently is taking my time. I was a little more, I was too rushed the first time around. And I thought that because financially I was prepared to do it, you know, that it was, you know, the time to do it, but it was not. Timing is everything. It wasn't a good, conducive situation. It just didn't line up the way that it was supposed to in between me and the landlord. Got messy. Shit got a little messy. It was what it was. But it happened for a reason because, like, it's still, like, I wanted the space, but it wasn't in a good area. And the area wasn't bad. It just wasn't in an area, like, where my target audience is. You know? So those are things to be mindful of. Like, when it comes to business, you know, at the end of the day gonna end. So we gotta have profit. And also we wanna be in areas that's conducive, and you wanna be where your audience is. So location. And I'm taking my time really figuring out what that means. Cause, you know, I could easily go like to North Georgia or something like that, but like I said, I'm trying to do something a little different. And I'm still in the process of figuring out what that looks like. I want to be clear.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that at the end, because this is going to tie into my next question. You said you want to do something different, right? What is your ultimate dream project as an artist? If you had to choose doing something different, it could be any type of project. What would be your dream ideal project? It could be for a particular person. It could be on a particular thing, item. You name it. The world is your oyster.
I wish I could say, because, I think that, I had never thought of that one before. I guess my dream project would probably be one, with all my kids. Literally, them helping me, and them getting to a point, especially my daughter Carly, getting to a point where we can create a large masterpiece together. If we can co-create a piece together, well, we will be one day. Because Carly is already a fantastic artist. So that's the thing. She just turned 7, and she has it naturally as well. So like when she gets to a point, because I'm training her up, and when we can co-create a big, huge, large piece, and whatever her style is, who knows what that can look like. And our other son, Jewels, he loves to paint as well, but see, he has an abstract style. Yeah, he's 4. He loves to do it, but he has an abstract style. So like, I haven't done any collaborative paintings, but I want to do some collabs with my kids when they get older and really put those energies together and blend them and see what we get, like on some big.
Now, do you think that you will collab with any other artists before that, or you think that you will hold off until your kids get to a certain age where they will be the first artist that you collab with?
It's gonna be whatever is genuinely supposed to take place. When it comes to stuff like that, outside of the kids, right? If I genuinely gel and vibe with somebody, which I got quite a few artist friends. You know, shout out y'all.
Right.
We've done some shows together, been in exhibits together. Especially obviously up in the city.
Right.
But those types of things kind of gotta genuinely unfold so that our styles can complement each other. So I'm always open for it, as long as it makes sense. So I just can't really say. It's just something that if it happens, we bump into each other. It's kindred, and we're inspired, and we move to do something. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to.
I like that. Fun and personal insights is what we're about to get into now. What's a fun fact about you that your audience may not know? Your followers and everybody else. What's a fun fact that they may not know?
A fun fact? I guess the fun fact would be something simple, like you mentioned earlier. Like, they don't really know that I can sing and dance. That's a huge. It's almost low key more of a passion for me than the art is. It actually is.
What, the singing?
Yeah.
Really? So you low key Whitney Houston and got the vocals of Beyonce back there.
Some.
But you just hiding behind the canvas and projecting your voice over the canvas. That's what you telling me?
They've been, they try to get me to sing and be in the industry since I was a kid. So that's always been something. Like, I sing daily, dance daily. I got dance fever. You know what I mean?
See, I sing daily too, but I sing in the shower.
And
so,
you should. You should keep it there.
So when I sing in the shower, that's different from having to project your voice and having your followers, your fans, really have to sing along with you and really loving it. I know when I hear you, it's amazing. I know when everybody else hears you on live, they say the exact same thing. So, like, could we get a collab with kind of maybe an album-inspired art project at the same time?
If you mean in terms of, like, I'll say this. It would be really dope if any of the musical artists that I'm inspired by, like, if I could meet them and do some cover art that, that I can be able to communicate the message and bring to fruition the message that they're trying to bring forth with their musical project. You know, put that in image form.
That's real.
Yeah, now that would be dope. I'm always open for something like that. I'm looking for something like that. That'll be dope because I love music, you know. So it will be a genuine thing. It'll be a genuine thing.
I'm thinking Uzi would be a great person to, if he is watching this live or was ever watching our lives, I feel like Uzi would be a great person to reach out because his artistry and your artistry together is just, on one page together would be ridiculous. And I just had to throw that out there because how he's such a creative and yours is off the charts as well. If you put two mad people together and let them create, it's gonna be diabolical.
I mean, that's what I do though. Whatever someone has in mind, like I can get it out.
Because for the people that listen to Uzi, they see his artistry and can picture his artistry with their eyes closed. But for the people that don't, that's where I feel you would be able to come in and paint those pictures of his music, like you said.
Yeah, you know, I can pretty much do that for anybody though. It's pretty much like when it comes to that, that's when you being a translator. You know what I'm saying? So
that's real.
Yeah.
So, who has been your biggest artistic inspiration and why?
Initially, it was Wack, Kevin Williams.
Kevin Williams?
Yeah,
okay.
he's a traditional oil painter. He does it all. He sketches as well as like if he get in the mood, he may airbrush. You know what I'm saying? A whole portrait.
Does he do sculpture as well?
I don't believe so. I've never seen him do that. But as a teenager, I never saw anyone do any urban art, black art of people of color. You know what I'm saying? That I could follow and practice from.
Okay.
Once we got, internet and had computers at the house, I was trying to Google black art, and he was literally the only person to come up back then.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so a lot of his work, I practiced sketching back then, and it helped, build my technique. So he's initially my first inspiration, just kind of, definitely let me see, like, okay, somebody's really doing black art and they're successful with it. Like, I can't believe this is all on the internet. Like, maybe I can do this. That was my first inkling in regards to that. And here lately, so technique-wise, it's him. And then emotionally, Frida Kahlo, the last few years.
Okay, and that's who's in this painting right here, right?
Yes.
This is one of the series, right? This is one of many that's to come, right? It's amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
So this leads into my next question. Since you used Wack as your inspiration, if you could collaborate, would you collaborate with him? You know what I mean? Like if he, okay.
Of course.
Because from what I've seen is if he doesn't sculpt, I mean, you could teach him some sculpting, and you could learn from him, and he could learn from you when it comes to that kind of collaboration or cohesiveness. When it comes to that.
I think that would be kind of a different, situation.
Okay.
As far as teaching him to sculpt or something like that. Like, if we did collab, it was, I would more so, naturally it would be us approaching it with our techniques that we're already well versed in. So we can, naturally get some done, as opposed to like it coming off as any form of lessons or anything like that. Yeah, like
that makes sense.
He's an OG.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, not that it can't be done, but I would also probably lean a little more into something or collaborating with like someone that their style and my style is a bit more complementary, where we can like bring something different to each other's work and audience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
A piece of yourselves.
But just totally different. Because like he does figurative art and so do I. But it's not the same. We still have our own styles and approach. But like maybe I would, like I said, like connect and collab with somebody who does abstract, for example. And so therefore, like I do a figure or some people or whatnot, and they add a different vibe to the background with, their abstract. background and what they feel about, you know, the pieces I've laid out, or, you know, however it goes.
How does your astrology inspire your work or your life? For example, your Taurus sun and your Libra moon placements.
Yeah, I love astrology. I love, love, love astrology. So, basically, yeah, definitely being a Taurus sun and, you know, repping for the Taurus all day. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. But Taurus sun, Libra moon, I'm more about Venus. And Venus is arts and beauty, aesthetic, love. And with that being the case, that's why, like, it's a part of what I was saying. Like, it's just something that's in me. I embody, you know, art and creativity. It's kind of like, you know, what else you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, that's what feels natural, to create beauty, to be a part of creating a genuine, nice aesthetic. Add value to people's environments, enhancing environments, and just bringing forth love and connection. Big on energy, big on vibes.
So now we're at a moment where if anybody has any questions that are in any of the lives, they can always ask. We'll be here for another few 5 to 10 minutes because you still got some artwork to display. Still got so many pieces, and I think that the world really needs to see your true artistry. These pieces are amazing, but there are so many more. You have sculptures that people want to see. The biggest thing is that you're still out here doing it. Self-taught, self-made, a black woman out here in this world navigating through your own lane of waters and creating your own pathways. I think that is the most commendable thing that any person can do, being your own boss. Being a mom, wearing many hats, like all those colors in your hats, they symbolize all the different belts and world titles that you hold in this household to us. You're an amazing mother, amazing artist, creator, singer, content creator, whether you believe it or not. What do you see next for your family and for yourself? And that's the question that I want to know. You know, what's next for Divine Art? And that's the biggest thing for me.
Just growth, you know what I'm saying? Just continuing to be able to create genuinely. Still elevating my craft. I began sculpting 2 years ago, so that's a little new. And it's so genuine. Like, it feels good to do. It feels like a natural thing. So I'd like to get into that even more heavily and continue to incorporate that more. I plan to incorporate my poetry more with the art and expand on that. So what's next is just pretty much expanding and really adding more of me into what I'm doing even more, because there's more, like showing those layers, adding the layers to it. So I'm just really going to be giving y'all more of me.
So we got a question here, ETA Driver. What's up, ETA? He says he just joined the live, so this is a recap question, but he says, what's the motivation behind your art?
So the motivation behind my art is to show myself, show my children, show children upcoming in general, the younger generations who are creative, to follow their dreams. If you feel like this is your purpose, if you create every day just because, and you're gonna do it anyway, whether you get paid, don't get paid. Like, I used to walk around with a sketch pad and a pencil all the time. My mama knew, like, that's what I had to have. I don't know how she even came to that conclusion, but that was one of the most special gifts that she would always get me. I still remember the first time she bought me a sketch pad and a pencil. She used to initially try to, like, she was buying me toys, Barbies and stuff, and like, I had that stuff. I played with it for about a week and grow bored. But like, once she figured me out, because I was drawing on everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was about for me. So if you're genuine in your creativity, I want to be able to show and inspire the kids and younger generations to just follow their hearts, no matter what that looks like. And that pushes me, like, pretty much to continue to show up in this world through what I do.
ETA also says, do you express your art just on canvas or sculpture also?
Yeah, so I got canvas. I make sculptures. I guess let me grab this one sculpture.
Yeah, I told you, woman, we need to see the artwork. Show us the merchandise. You see so many paintings you got over there in the cut hide, and we're gonna have to go through this. Look at that. Look at this piece.
The paintings are too big, so y'all gonna see what y'all see now. And you gotta stay tuned and actually check out my websites and whatnot. Okay. You know, and continue to follow the journey. You'll see more and more of my work.
It's massive.
This is one of the sculptures I have here.
I want to zoom in on this and see this, because this is, like, we passed the interview process. Now we're looking at the work.
It's a backflow incense sculpture. So you put an incense cone here, and the smoke is going to blow out through his nostrils. And naturally, people can place whatever they like. It's, you know, kind of like a tray down here I made. And I made this from nothing, just from blocks of clay. I'm self-taught sculpting. I just start making stuff. I'm able to get out what I see. And when it comes to the sculptures, I don't even see nothing, so I'm just making this from scratch.
Right,
and just molding.
It's just like a blank canvas, right?
Yeah, this comes a little more natural though, because some people paint from their minds. I use references and expand from there what I'm trying to communicate. Like usually I'll use a reference photo of an image of a person and expand from there. But with the sculptures, it's just straight from scratch in my mind. I do not know
who the person is supposed to look like.
I don't know what I'm going to create. I can kind of plan. I try to plan and be like, oh, I'm going to make a woman. Sometimes that's not what happens. That's not what comes out.
It turns into something else.
It's just whatever it is most of the time. 99% of the time. It just happens as I go. Like I feel like a lot of, you know, my ancestors are probably working through me. You know, when I'm creating with my hands, you know.
ETA said, I was just about to say, so I also see that I see you got a Kobe painting on your shirt.
Merch.
ETA says, does your art also convert into clothing as well? So, yeah, that's.
I have my work.
Next, we can see the shirt.
Yeah, I have.
See the quality of the shirt. You know what I mean? Because you did that. I ain't gonna lie. That's another art piece that you created.
Yeah, it's Kobe. It's called Mamba Detail.
That's my guy.
Yeah. So, yes, I have merch. I have my art on shirts, hoodies. I have custom cups, stainless steel tumblers. Like, I have an Etsy shop. I have an Etsy shop with my artwork on. You can purchase my artwork at my website, as well as I'm revamping my website, but I also have an Etsy shop where my artwork is on wall tapestries, blankets, quilts, cups, glass cups, mugs, cell phone cases, notebooks. I got notebooks. Like, I got merch. So just hats, you know what I mean? Like almost anything you can think of, we try to make sure, because a lot of people love to collect. Everyone, you know, can invest in the original pieces. So we also have canvas prints, but I just, you know, try to make sure I have a little something for everybody. I have pillows. My art is on pillows.
Right.
So I have many collectors by way of merch as well. Like we have pillows of the art, who rocking it on their hoodie. You know what I mean? Who got cups? They got trays. You know, we got custom trays with the artwork on it. So I try to make sure we have something for everyone who appreciates having that beauty, you know, in whatever capacity they see fit.
That's amazing. I really want to get on this these other paintings. I think that, but I guess she's the artist is saying go to her live, go to her TikTok, go to her, go to all of her platforms, because you will be able to see all of her creations.
Yeah, there's definitely more to come. You just gotta tune in. Like, you'll see more. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this has been a great interview at Divine Art Studios. You all already know who I am. I'm J Tuck.
What's up?
J Tuck here. I appreciate all the followers and all of the new followers and people that just came in to listen to the artist actually speak and dabble and tell you the truth, the nit and gritty about what it is to be like as an artist. I hope you guys gain some valuable knowledge and information, because that is the only reason why we are here. With that being said, I'm going to end my live. You all have a good one.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for, I appreciate your time. Thank you for appreciating mine. Keshay Devine, DevineArtStudio.
Out. What happened?
Shit dead. It's all good. Because those lives gonna say it. So it don't matter.
Oh, they do say it? How you find it?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, still can go back and
Okay.
get what did get. So at least, like, as long as we got, the whole thing somewhere,
So what the hell is 390?